So this little snippet here is on meiosis. And in meiosis there are two ways that you can create variation. The first one is crossing over. When you cross over, say, a bridge, you go from one side to another, okay? So what's that got to do with homologous chromosomes? Well, if we draw in the nucleus, what's happened up to this point, okay, what's happened previously, is that the DNA has replicated itself exactly, producing identical sets of homologous chromosomes. So if this was if you look at the diagram, you'll go from 4 chromosomes to 8 chromosomes, okay? And instead of the chromosomes looking like this, okay? So this is an homologous pair of chromosomes. Before replication, when they replicate, what you produce is you produce this here, okay? So these are the 2 homologous chromosomes, one from the parent, one from each parent, so one from the dad, one from the mum. They then replicate themselves in the first stage of meiosis. Have a look at the diagram if you're not sure. What I'll do is I'll just use colours for this, just to keep life easy. And instead of doing 92 chromosomes, which would be found in a human cell, I'm just going to keep this real simple, okay? So inside of here, in fact, let me just draw this in. So this is what we started off with. This is the very beginning, okay? So what we've got is we've got homologous chromosomes here. Homologous because they're the same size, containing the same genes. They are different colours to represent there are 2 different colours to represent the 2 different parents. So just to be completely non-PC about this, the blue one here is from your father. This is also called paternal, and the red one here is from your mother. So this is your maternal chromosomes. So then here, the first stage is DNA replication, where each chromosome will make an identical copy of itself. And like I said before, what you end up with is you end up with this shape here. So this is a copy of that, and this is a copy of that. Red one's maternal, coming from your mother. The blue one is paternal. So what's happened here, okay? What's happened here is that the pairs of chromosomes here have actually paired up with one another, okay? And when they do this, this is when crossing over comes in. What happens is that they become slightly entangled. In other words, the coils of DNA sort of, instead of being like this, they start to become tangled up, and then when they get pulled apart from each other, when they separate slightly, parts of that DNA break off from one another and get swapped over, crossed over. So what does that look like? Well, it looks like this, okay? That, say, this part and this part got swapped. This is crossing over. You've got a definition on this slide about what it is. So these are the 2 parts that have crossed over. Now I have a fully paternal chromosome here, but I also now have mostly paternal with a little bit of maternal mixed in. So now it's created a new combination of genes in here that will be different to this one. And it's the same here. This one here from the maternal side has now got a little bit of paternal in it, and therefore is completely different to here. Okay? Crossing over is a random event. So it could happen once in the case of here, or it could happen zero times in the case of here. There's been no crossing over, so there's no variation between these two chromosomes and no variation between these two chromosomes. Okay, so what's happened is that there has been some crossing over here. Now I said it's a random event, and in this case it's once, and in this case it's 0. This could happen up to 200 times per set of chromosomes here. So it's only on the inside chromosomes, okay, that can swap over, because they're the only ones that are physically close enough to be able to entwine and swap parts of their chromosomes. These two here, this one here, the two on the outside, the blue one here and the red one here, will never get close enough to each other to be able to cross over, because they can't actually physically entwine, okay? Because these are in the way. And that's crossing over. Really important for creating genetic variation, because each gamete, once this divides, each gamete will contain a different combination of alleles. So this creates genetic variation, and this is one of the reasons why you look different to your brother or sister, because this is creating genetic variation, which is important for the survival of a species, because if the environment changes, then there will be some that are more suitable and therefore more likely to survive in that new environment. And that's crossing over.